What is going on, everybody? It is Starkler coming back at you with another Toontown Rewritten video, and this is going to be my Toonfest 2025 predictions video. So for those who don't know what Toonfest is, it's a real-world event that's hosted and funded by the Toontown Rewritten team, where people from all around the world come to attend. The event itself is dedicated to celebrating Toontown Rewritten, being filled with activities, panels, community spotlights, interviews with Toontown Online devs, and of course the great pie toss at the end. And what makes this Toonfest so special is that it'll actually mark 10 years of hosting Toonfest at real-world conventions, so this is going to be a really big milestone to celebrate. So that means it's going to be bigger and more special than ever before. So I'm going to be giving my own predictions on what I think is going to be talked about and revealed at this year's Toonfest taking place in Orlando, Florida. And just like last time, I'm going to be giving a little percentage rating to represent the probability of what's yet to come. The predictions I make should not be taken as official or guaranteed by any means. Okay, now that we have everything established, let's get started. Okay, so to start from the very top, there will definitely be new physical merchandise for those that physically attend the event in person. For anyone that purchases the Toon Enough Pass when going to GalaxyCon Orlando, they will be given access to exclusive physical merchandise that is only given away at the event. This includes the Toonfest Orlando shirt, a limited edition lanyard and badge, enamel pin, and a mystery trading card from the past Toon events. So people are definitely going to be getting new merchandise by attending this year's Toonfest. 100% guaranteed. They revealed it on the blog post, so we are going to get new physical merchandise 100%. So for new in-game cosmetics, there's always been new in-game cosmetics that get announced for people every year to unlock so they can customize their tunes to pay tribute to the event. Some of the cosmetics are exclusive to physical attendees only, meaning some of the special items can only be obtained through a special code card you can get by physically attending the event. There's also another code for more Toonfest cosmetics that gets shown to everyone in the community, and I don't think those ones expire either. And unlike the other exclusive outfit code cards, this one is permanent and the entire community can use it as a whole. Anyone could type it in from at home and it shouldn't expire. They've done this same tradition for so many years, and I don't have a reason why they wouldn't go through with doing this again, so I'm going to give this a 95% chance of happening again. I wish I could give it 100%, but the cosmetics only get revealed during the live shows. I have to give it 95%. I don't know why they wouldn't do this again, and they should go through with it like they always have every single year. Period. So Toontown Remastered was a project that was designed to bring Toontown Rewritten to a modern standard. This involves remastering textures, music, sound effects, animations, etc. to improve the quality and feel of the game. The project was first announced in 2023 with a showcase of Donald's Dreamland being the first place to be updated with all the new assets. Then in 2024, a progress report was given on the project, with most of it coming together quite well, being at around 20% complete. And then later that year, they started the Cartoonival up and updated Donald's Dreamland along with it, with these new assets they showed off at Toonfest. So because this project has been shown off several times and has worked its way into the game itself, I'm going to say with confidence that there will definitely be more of Toontown Remastered being shown off and talked about at this year's Toonfest. I'll give it a 90% chance of this being brought up and talked about again because of everything that I just said. They'll give us some updates, but I wouldn't expect a release date just yet. But they'll talk about it. So for those who don't know, there was another Toonfest in Columbus, Ohio that happened during December of last year, and I didn't really think about it much because the event mostly consisted of behind the scenes stuff instead of announcing new content for the game. But then something unexpected happened that completely blew my mind. They actually did it. Toontown Rewritten announced their first ever collaboration with Makeship. To make a long story short, this was something the community wanted them to do for a very long time, and they actually went through with doing it. On top of that, they also managed to raise over $21,000 for the Child's Play charity, which is absolutely incredible, and everything worked out the way it was intended. Because the Makeship campaigns ended in May, I think it's a bit too soon for them to announce any future campaigns at this year's Toonfest, but there's a possibility that they might announce that they have plans to do more plushies in the future. I think they're definitely going to launch more campaigns with Makeship in the near future, and there's definitely more characters they can turn into plushies, so I'm staying optimistic. Because this has to do with Toonfest, here's what I have to say. I think it's still a little too soon for them to announce a new plushie, so I'll give it a 50% chance. Maybe they'll pull off something epic and announce the Riggy Marole plushie or something for the Cartoonival in September, but I think that's a bit of a long shot, so will they announce a new Makeship campaign during Toonfest? I'm giving it a 50% chance, and that's it. So in 2015, a mysterious cloud showed up on the Toontown Rewritten map, and then 8 years later in 2023, we found out what was underneath it. A beach vacation-themed playground named Clear Coast was revealed. The playground itself is supposed to be a safe place from the cogs, filled with new toon tasks, picking up after Donald's Dreamland. There was also plenty of new objectives and rewards, they said, that will be announced for the playground, and even other new rewards that we haven't seen yet. So in order to get into the playground, there's a tunnel that's sitting on the pillow in Donald's Dreamland that was shown off, and it will eventually open up and lead straight to it. But there also might be another way to get there. If you look at Tenor Terrace, the street that's supposed to connect Minnie's Melody Land to Donald's Dreamland, you can see there's another pathway that branches off to Clear Coast. This means there would be 2 tunnels that would sit in Tenor Terrace. This would also make for the first street in the game to connect to 2 different playgrounds. Now I know what some people are thinking, where would the tunnel to Clear Coast go on that street? I actually went down the street myself to see if I could find a good spot where the tunnel would go, and there's actually an area that sits close to the middle of the street that has nothing but a dead end to it. There's a big empty building that sits on the very edge of the street with no shopkeeper inside or any toon tasks that require you to visit the place. So it would actually be pretty easy to put a tunnel there. It's almost like a tunnel was supposed to be put there, but then it never happened. So it's just this big dead end on the street that just serves no purpose other than cog buildings and a few other toon buildings. I think there's a good chance we might get something, so I'll give a release date announcement a 70% chance. I just don't really know how much of the playground they really have done at this date in time, but again, it's the 10th anniversary for Toonfest, so they might surprise us. If they don't give us a release date, then it's okay. Take your time. Another thing I wanted to talk about in regards to Clear Coast is the volcano that sits off to the left. Not much is really known about the volcano other than the fact that it exists. All we know is that it's a tall volcano-like structure that connects to Clear Coast by a long bridge with a tunnel and a dark pathway that goes inside it. It also sits on the very edge of the map, so there might be more to it that we just can't see yet. If you look at the early concept piece for Clear Coast, there actually exists this dark gray style bridge with some toon buildings sitting on top of it, with the front archway showing what looks to be a cog gear sitting on top. So, you know, Toon Playgrounds never try to use dark colors or anything like that, so my guess is that the volcano is definitely something cog related. I mean, it could be cog related, it could be a new cog HQ, and, you know, we don't really know what's going on inside it, but if it does have to do with the cogs, then it could mean that the cogs could be polluting the ocean, or it could lead to an underground cog facility, or it could lead to cognation for all we know. Will we get any more information regarding the volcano in Clear Coast? I think it's possible that it'll be talked about a little bit more, so I'll give it a 65% chance. We might hear more about it, we might not, but we'll just have to wait and see. So there's just one more thing related to Clear Coast that I wanted to mention before I move on, and it's the idea that we might be getting a magic-themed battle mechanic along with the new playground itself. Upon looking at last year's Toonfest, there was a brief mention of having a new battle-focused reward being a part of the new playground, along the lines of the additional laugh and facing other new threats. Now, I don't think we're getting a new gag track, at least not at the time of this playground coming out, because I think it would be a little too ambitious to add something like that alongside whatever new mechanics get added as it is, but I have a feeling that this new battle-focused reward might be something related to magic. Now, you may be wondering why I think it has something to do with magic, and let me explain why. There has been a lot of magical themed elements that have been brought up over the course of this year. There's been blog post after blog post involving new wizard themed outfits that have been getting released. The blog post revealing the event schedule mentions the schedule being pulled out of a magician's hat, and it says to be prepared to be spellbound for the magic that awaits. It also says that Daniel, one of the original Toontown Online developers, will be performing a one-man magic act. Even the Partner Fest schedule itself has magical themed topics scattered throughout pretty much all of it. As far as percentages go, I can't really say with confidence that this is going to be what the new battle mechanic is going to be about, so I'll give it a 10% chance and leave it at that, but maybe it's just a long shot. Alright, so I'm getting down to the bottom of the list, and I'm going to try to keep these last two topics short. So, we had Storm's Lawbot headquarters in July of 2015, and then we had Crash Cashbot headquarters in May of 2019, and now it's 2025, nearly 6 years later, and we have had nothing yet for Lawbot HQ, and I just wanted to talk about the possible announcement of something that might get brought up, maybe. So, we never got any announcement last year related to the topic, but it was briefly mentioned and talked about for a brief moment during the staff Q&A, with Joey himself mentioning the idea of wanting to flood Lawbot HQ from the glaciers in the Berg, like melting and flooding the whole place, and the team would actually love to partake in creating an event like that for the future. So, it's an idea that's been floating around for a while, just like an ice cube, waiting to be thawed out. But other than that, nothing else has been said. I know this is a project that's probably sitting on their back burner for something to be worked on in the future, so I'm going to give the topic a 25% chance of at least being brought up and mentioned again. Maybe they'll talk about it, maybe they won't, but we'll see. Okay, the final thing I wanted to mention was the Executive Office Tower. For those who don't know what the Executive Office Tower is, it is a cog tower that came out with BossBot HQ in 2015, where it's been sitting inactive and has been collecting dust for over a decade now. Yeah, it's been there for that long. This is because the executive office was originally supposed to be part of an event that was going to celebrate the game going out of beta to full release, but the idea was scrapped and it never happened. So now it's just sitting there. Apparently, it's supposed to be a place where the four main boss cogs would be meeting up to plot something, and I think it's going to be one of their next big projects that will be worked on after Clear Coast is done. I still have the idea that once Clear Coast gets released, the team should then work on creating the executive office and then have tasks added to Clear Coast that would be connected to it in some sort of way, and it seems like that's the direction that they might be going in, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So will they mention or talk about the executive office or anything related to it? I'll give it a 25% chance. If it really is the next big project that the team's gonna work on, then maybe they'll just talk about it a little bit. So there you go, 25%. So that's pretty much it for this year's Toonfest predictions. Again, this is a special kind of Toonfest because it'll be the 10th one they do, so it marks a decade of doing this kind of stuff. So expectations are probably a little higher, and you know what? Regardless of whatever gets revealed or announced, I think the best thing we can do as a community is to be as supportive and respectful as humanly possible. I know a lot of these big updates take a long time to to get finished and fully released, especially with this new playground being revealed over 2 years ago. I think I could speak for a lot of people that we want it to come sooner than later, so just try to be patient and watch the magic happen with the passage of time, okay? So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys during the Toonfest stream. Have a nice day.